Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for March 4th through 7th, 2022. Well, we're coming out of that incredibly powerful new moon in Pisces. I'm sure you're feeling that energy. And now the sun has been conjunct Jupiter through the whole new moon. But now, just as we come out of this new moon energy, the sun comes into exact conjunction with Jupiter this weekend. And so the new moon energy continues, and yet it's like it takes a couple days to come out of the new moon energy. And so it's an interesting and perfect timing to have this exact Sun Jupiter, really powerful. And the sun is who we think we are, our identity, and Jupiter expands and brings out to light and is representational of the new king. Like Saturn's the old king, the old guard, and Jupiter's the new king, the new leader, the new Messiah. And so here we are having an opportunity in this Pisces energy, the end of the zodiac cycle, to rebirth who we are and rebirth who we are into our Christ consciousness, our Christ body. From the beginning of the information I've gotten in downloads around supernova souls, there's this message around there's this whole bigger part of you that you don't even know that has not been able to fully incarnate. And in this energy, these current astrologies is like inviting us into this more full incarnation. In fact, it's like meeting ourselves for the first time. Very strange symptoms in these energetic times. The Schumann resonance has been very strong, and we are in uncharted territory with the electromagnetic radiation on our planet, and who knows what else is going on. So with all this Pisces energy, the sun, the moon today is moving over into Aries. So that is bringing some fire. We haven't had any fire energy, very little this whole year. So as the sun moves over into Aries for the equinox, that's going to be a shift. We have 2 full months right now that Mars or Mercury and Venus have come out of their retrograde shadow. We have 2 full months of all planets direct. And the impetus energy of that forward momentum is going to come when at the equinox, when the sun moves over into Aries. So it's a good time for these next couple of weeks to prepare for this, to be in the Pisces energy of the dream, of the going with the flow, of connecting to your spiritual essence, and beginning to vision and imagine what a new way forward would look like. Because with this window of all planets direct, it's kind of like we're being pushed out of the nest. It's like, wait a minute, I was just born and I don't even know who I am. And it's so wild right now because I can feel supernova souls getting more and more sensitive. Of course, this is what happens as we spiritually evolve. And our world is getting more crazy, or at least the everyday, day-to-day reality. And so it's a lot to handle right now. Supernova souls are so sensitive to collective energy and don't even realize they're doing it. You're doing work on other levels and not even realizing it. This is part of the wealth revolution that we're going through with Uranus and Taurus and the North Node in Taurus. The wealth revolution is on multiple levels, but part of it is uncovering for supernova souls these gifts and treasures that you've had within you over lifetimes, but you haven't been able to access or really even know you had or use. And yet it's all you came here to do. And part of that, though, is really confusing because you're dealing with invisible energies. And this is why we haven't been able to value these things in our world, you know? And then if you have the perspective of after you leave a body and then, reevaluating your experience here on Earth, you can clearly see where the wealth is, what you really get to take with you, your soul growth, when you were able to be there for other people. And this is going to be huge in the coming months ahead as we have massive disclosures of very uncomfortable truths. And I think that's just kind of part of this wealth revolution, is beginning to see the invisible and understand that the energy is wealth. I mean, our whole world runs on energy, right? Everything is based on the petrodollar right now in our whole economy. And look how the truckers have shown us that they hold the power, really. You know, the transit, the fuel that's needed to move our goods, bring us our fuel, our food. And so we have this complete recapitulation around what wealth is and what really matters. And we need that. And so I think this might be already happening with supernova souls. You might be feeling really drained and not realize it, feel the emotions of other people. You're working on projects you don't realize you're working on. You're trying to clear up the astral plane. We've been doing this for a while, but there's a huge bloom of this energy because there's such a cognitive dissonance in our world, and because the lower astral plane is really clogged up right now. In the new moon activation, if you're interested in going back and getting that replay, it was so interesting when we connected into our highest guidance. There was an energy of like, you guys, we've been knocking at your door trying to talk to you, but maybe that's part of this weird artificial electromagnetic interference energy we're dealing with, and the clogging up of the lower astral plane, because a lot of souls are leaving this world unexpectedly. And the truth hasn't come to light about the situation. And so it's like, of course, here we are again, supernova souls picking up the garbage and doing the recycling, you know? So maybe that's why this time is so powerful for us, because it's like, oh, I was lending energy to this and I didn't even know, because it's invisible and our world doesn't validate it. And we have this whole energy body. It's so much more real than our physical form. We are not our physical form. And yet we have no education and awareness about our energy body. This is what the intuitive training is about. It's about learning our awareness about these bodies so we can own and be sovereign in our space. Supernova souls are in such a powerful position right now because you have not given up your connection to source. And maybe that's what I'm feeling, like the artificial control this period of time of astrology is so sweet, but the control energies are clamping down because they're losing their grip. And maybe that's a really important message too. It's like, be conscious of the invisible energy and where you're putting it out, and understand the wealth of that and hold that so that you can take care of yourself to be able to be there for humanity in a positive way that is not draining you, that's not interfering with your sense of peace and presence. This is the most important thing. And again, when we're talking about wealth, hello, a sense of well-being, this is our natural state. And everything in this world has been trying to take it from us, to keep us in fear and trauma and anxiety, and never being able to fully live. So we can never access our creative power. We can never do anything good. We can never change our world for the better. It's like constant blockage of life force. And so here we have energy, invisible energy, and life force is the wealth of this world. And coming back to this is why supernova souls, why you're so wealthy, because you have never given up this connection to source. But there's a lot of forces trying to get us to do this right now. So stay steady in the waves of this drama. And remember, it's like, if we're going to acknowledge the invisible and begin to work with those energies and preserve our energies and honor our energies, this is the Taurus, it's about resources and caring for our resources. And so that is a complete shift for supernova souls, right? It's like until you recognize and value the energetic output, you're never going to be able to tend to yourself and care for yourself in a way that can continue to support that energetic output. And but maybe that's, like I said, what this time is about, is because we're becoming aware, and then we can value and honor these resources that we have within us. So there is an absolute juxtaposition going on of like the darkest dark and the lightest light. And so what I'm seeing in supernova souls is kind of like a vacillation between these. It's like you find yourself pulled back into the drama, into the pain, into the worry, into the collective energies, into the confusion, into the frustration. A lot of frustration coming up around, maybe this is the moon moving into Aries. It's like around kind of like, when you're in trauma and you're just kind of getting through, right? And it's not until you begin to come out of that you can really heal. And it's like there's this righteous anger, maybe with the Aries energy coming this season. It's like what in the heck? Everything is just, once you know more about the truth. I mean, if we knew the full truth of what's been done to us, advanced souls, over lifetimes and in this lifetime, and memories we can't access, our psyche wouldn't even be able to handle it. And yeah, it's really important that we start to understand the level of manipulation we've endured so we can take our power back. And it's kind of like, just this feeling of working so hard for so long, and then just having this absolutely negative, working against life force constantly impeding your progress, and then we have to step way back. And, this is the Aquarius energy can help us with this right now. And kind of be like, wait a minute, I'm here to evolve. I'm not here to make it work and be perfect and happy on Earth right now. We're in spiritual boot camp, and Earth is like a very difficult, quick learning situation, And so can we come out of that duality consciousness? This is what Venus and Mars are asking of us. But also, so we've got this shift into wanting to move forward and momentum and get the F out of my way. But then we've got Venus and Mars at the very end degrees of Pisces, and they move over into Aquarius on Sunday. So today and tomorrow, it's like the last. So it's a really strange where supernova souls are having glimpses of these higher frequency vibrations and this flow and this co-creation. And then it's like, oh my gosh, the darkest, scariest movie you can imagine. And this is exactly Pisces, right? But the Pisces energy is inviting us in our death process and rebirth to come out of the psychological mind. The psychological mind is what's controllable. And our true God mind, our presence in the truth of who we really are, is unaffected by the control energies. So keep this in mind as you vacillate. It seems like in between the darkest, scariest movie and hopelessness, and I've gone through all this and I'm still never going to get anywhere, and I'm all alone and unsupported, and all the things supernova souls have gone through, to like, wait a minute, whoa, I can feel the universe beginning to try to work with me. So we are in a process of reprogramming. And maybe that's why these dualities are coming up so strong, because that feeling of when nothing's worked out for so long, and then all of a sudden something is kind of like feeling like it's like you have guidance and direction and the co-creation. And then you go, no, I can't trust that. It's never worked before, so why is it going to work now? So, but the leap we're making with this incarnation of our light body, our Christ consciousness, and the bigger truth of who we really are, that is trying to take us over a threshold. But it's black and white in a way. It's going from like, constant. It's almost like we didn't face and we weren't really conscious of the fact of how much was working against us. And then you go through the trauma of like realizing how much has worked against you, and the frustration and the anger and, all the stages of grief. And we've got to, at this point, use the current energies of harmony and collaboration to reset our whole vibration and try to recognize. I think that's what this time is about, is to more immediately recognize when you're not going with the flow, when you're in the old patterns. It's easy right now in this new in between place to get triggered back into that old stuff, and into that duality thinking, into that feeling like nothing is going to work and everything's working against you and all of that. And so how do we reset our vibration to be able to receive and flow, feel safe and held and loved? It's a beautiful energy. And Mother Earth, Goddess Gaia, 5D Earth, is like, whoa, she's so different. And she just wants to hold us and love us and help us come into feeling like cared for as a spiritual being here on Earth. But for many lifetimes, you've never felt that. In fact, you felt persecuted as a spiritual being. So how do you flip that switch? That's really connected to this incarnation process that's trying to happen. So the Aries energy at the equinox will bring that energy of incarnation. And so we want to use this time wisely to allow our vibration to adjust to a different way of being. And be like, oh yeah, that's the old way. I'm going to make a note of this right now and move back into that. I got a glimpse of this co-creation energy. I got a glimpse of feeling at home, safe, loved, and supported on Earth. I'm going to run with this. So maybe that's what we're being asked to run with. But it's also like the more you find that center and hold that ground, the more the energies around you will try to pull you from that and try to get you back in the drama. And so it's like, how do we go, that same question, how do we go to the flow and not be a doormat? How do we flow with the universe and not get programmed and just give up our autonomy? So this is a powerful place and an activation that's available from, we're just coming off of the Mercury Saturn conjunction that happened on this new moon. And we're going to feel that through tomorrow, and kind of like an energy of a backbone and a strength to speak your truth and come and have those boundaries where you can hold your sovereign ground. And wow, it's like so much at once. And yet the astrology is like la, 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 because we've got Venus and Mars together. Of course, the end degrees of Capricorn. I think I said Pisces before. Sorry about that. The end degrees of Capricorn about to move over into Aquarius. So that happens, like we said, on Sunday. And those end degrees of Capricorn can feel so heavy. And maybe that's that bloom of energy. And yet, are you ready to run with it if it does lighten up? And maybe what's heavy in our lives, this is the Pluto energy, is what isn't true to our true nature. And so it's showing up so that we can bring our attention back to our true nature and not put energy. The main trick of these times and this weird psychological and electromagnetic energies is to bring ourselves back to that true essential self and recognize that that all of the play out there that pulls us into drama is the false self. And we want to be in our true authentic self. This is a really part of the reason supernova souls have a psychic suffering going on, because there's so many lies and deception going on in our world. Good people pretending to be bad and bad to be good, and what's really happening in the news is an absolute complete lie. There's cardboard guns. Like, somebody just tell me what's really going on, right? And for a soul like a supernova soul, an intuitive soul, your true nature is, for lifetimes you've been striving to be who you really are and absolutely authentic. And there's nothing like that in our world right now. And it brings a deep feeling. Again, it brings up what I feel like is really coming up for supernova souls is this grief. Like, it's like, now that the energies are beginning to shift, we can finally process the grief of lifetimes of not feeling welcome and at home on earth as a spiritual being. So this is the rebirth. And this is exactly what the messages are saying, is that how do we reprogram and allow ourselves, because when the programming is so strong, we're so used to, think about it, for lifetimes, this is how it's been. And then all of a sudden you're supposed to be like, oh, now we can do it differently. But our psyche holds on to those old patterns because that's what it knows, even though it's not healthy. So this next period of time leading up to the equinox seems to be about trying to allow this level of reprogramming to happen in our field, where we can receive the new energies, where we can allow ourselves to be held and loved, even though the world is showing us something completely different. It's not real. And maybe it's the whole trap out of the matrix. We are not our form. We're so much bigger and so much more, coming back to the wealth revolution. So yeah, big shift this weekend, and it should bring a lightening. Aquarius energy of Venus and Mars, they're still together and they're so sweet. They're just in exact conjunction for so long. And that goes all the way to the 9th of March. So use this time wisely. It's so important. It's inviting us out of that duality consciousness into this birth of Christ consciousness, of our Christ body, our light body, and living from that place. Like, literally, our energetic field, when it's activated in light body, it's like our own universe. And we don't have to dabble in any of that crap out there. And there is an energy of, like, when truths come out, there could be a lot of rage and uncomfortable and people not in their right mind, the zombie apocalypse. And so more and more, we're going to need to hold that center. And that is our wealth too. We didn't go through all we went through in all these lifetimes in this lifetime to just be a part of the program and go along with be a part of the mass hysteria. We went through it, and because we are here to hold unequivocally and unquestionably this peace and presence of who we really are as spiritual beings. And it's weird because, like I said, there's this juxtaposition. It's getting easier on some level to do that. And the world's getting crazier and more energy's trying to pull us away. This whole medical tyranny situation is the ultimate goal is transhumanism, to take over our organic networks with artificial intelligent networks that are controllable. And there is like an absolute agenda to the ultimate thing that has to happen for that to happen in a single human is a severing of the soul from source. Now, this is the most important, powerful concept for supernova souls to really embody and to know with their full being, is that there is nothing, no higher authority, no higher power than a human soul in a body, save source, because it gives you direct access to source. It's like it all starts to make sense why there's such an agenda to disconnect us. And supernova souls, through everything you've gone through, you've only gotten a stronger connection to your soul source. But also, no forces are trying to sever. literally sever the soul from the body so that other energies can use your body. And when you know fully and completely that there's nothing out there. There's a lot of this because the Pisces energy and like they're trying to keep us in fear and all the psychic attack. And it's like they want us to be really scared. And because that's when we're controllable through fear. So they're using all they've got to keep us in fear right now. One narrative's falling apart, got to start a war, And but it takes a lot of soul power to have a physical body as a human. So there you go. There's a baseline. And then supernova souls, you have gone through so much. And yes, it was totally intense and difficult, but it's because it made that bond between you and your soul through your body stronger. And so there's nothing out there. These energies that don't have a body that want to come and haunt you and scare you, they don't have any power. They want your power. You have what everyone wants. Now, this is really weird too, because I know supernova souls, kind of this feeling of like, as you hold your center and you work on your light body and you're not giving up your soul sovereignty, energies around you that have given up their power are like, oh, we want what you have. And it's like, sorry, Charlie. I've worked for many lifetimes and I'm finally getting somewhere. Back off. So we are being asked to have really strong boundaries right now, but at the same time to drop the walls and surrender to the cosmic energy of support. Again, in that new moon activation, it was such a clear energy when we re-entered our home, the sacred space with our soul group members. And it was like automatically you knew you could trust these souls. And this is something that's been so difficult for supernova souls, narcissist relationships and drama, because we've been surrounded very deliberately by lower karmic relationships, oftentimes, to make sure over lifetimes that we don't remember who we are. And that feeling of not being able to figure out people turning on you and weird games and all this stuff. And it's like, what in the heck is going on this planet? And all of a sudden it's a narcissist reality everywhere. And it is. I mean, this whole medical situation is based on parasitic reality. We live in a parasitic world, and now it's playing out we can really see it. There's like a multi-headed monster that can be created in our body from these situations. So everything, it's like, but it's all showing us that we have the power. That human soul connected to source in their body is the highest, the most powerful being, and the highest form of authority. So why can't we own that shit? So maybe the energies that are happening that are trying to pull us off our center we can be like coming out of duality thinking and being like, this is all working for me because I've made it this far and I'm not giving up. And this resolve to, so when we're talking about the wealth or the energies of this world and we're talking about the psychological energies, our power, so where we put our energy is connected to this soul power that we have and this life force in our own body and connection to source. And the way we exercise where we put our power is through our attention, right? And so everything wants our attention. It's like a whole bunch of really needy 2-year-olds, as far as like the news and the drama and the this and the that, And so when to exercise our spiritual will and our strength and our power, it's our attention. And it's hard because it's like, sometimes we'll be like, well, I need to our old way of doing it was like, I need to figure out what this dynamic is, and I need to sort through it, and I need to understand it. I need to heal it, and I need this. And it's like, actually, you're putting a whole bunch of attention on something that is not worthy of your attention, because we got to be right here, right now. And so the way to exercise your power right now is to be like, no, not my problem. I'm right here. And then can you find something, especially with this Pisces energy and this rebirth energy and this forward motion? It's a really good time to use our when we're using our creative energy. It's that's what opens up the door to co-creation. And what if you had something that you could always bring your attention back to? Maybe you could start with like an item, a crystal or something that's special to you that feels protective. And then you can be like, oh, I'm bringing it back to here, or I'm bringing it back to nature. I'm bringing it back to my pet. I'm bringing it back to what really matters, what's really real, and what's right here and right now. And if you have a creative project and you feel yourself getting distracted, and then, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up, because everything wants to pull you out of your space. But then if we can use our spiritual will to bring our attention back to where we want our attention. And nature right now is so activated and beautiful, and a creative project is the energy of co-creation. When you're really in a project and everything else goes away. And so, I don't know, we're at this crucial time it's like a testing, but it's also with all those Pluto conjunctions, it's about breaking down the false self, the false realities, the things in our life that are not in alignment with our greater truth. For years, it's been okay for supernova souls to be like, well, someday, I'll make some changes. Well, someday maybe my life will be like, really, I kind of feel like there's something more inside of me. And it's like, no, we can't do it halfway anymore. And that's this energy of this next couple of months. We can really focus and come back into our center, come back to where we want our attention. And this is the energy of 2022 for supernova souls, is it's our time to come together, collaborate on solutions, and let the world have its fallout. And we've got to be in the energy of solutions. That's what we're here for. And but we can't offer anything to the world, any energy or our co-creation work, if we're not whole and complete, healed, and feeling supported and welcome here. So that's a big part of what's going on for a lot of supernova souls, is big changes in our lives, that kind of like, I could make that work with a few band-aids and some extra nails and tape or something. But now I can see that it's really not in alignment with my greater spiritual truth, which is your power, which is how you're going to make it through this crazy experience. So we can't do it part way anymore. And maybe that's some of the pressure that supernova souls are feeling, this kind of being pushed out of the nest energy. But together, this 222 and Venus and Mars together for 5 weeks, or I think it's a little over, it's like 4 weeks altogether, that they're almost in exact conjunction, or in exact conjunction for almost 4 weeks. It's amazing. It's about collaboration. And when we're together, we can do anything. And that's why they don't want us together. There's been so much programming working against supernova souls from finding each other, because that light body activation, that recognition of spiritual truth, the spiritual wealth, it's contagious. If you don't have anyone around you to reflect your spiritual wealth back to you, then it has no value in this world. And is this how you've been feeling? That's deliberate, a deliberate agenda. And now we're saying, hey, wait a minute, we figured out we got the power, and we're the highest authority, and we're not playing anymore. And that's where we come back to our attention, and to just bringing our attention. But there's a lot of psychological garbage out there trying to distract us and pull us off. But if you say, oh, there's that garbage she was talking about, and I'm not a garbage collector anymore, I'm a co-creationist. And what a different energy to move in the world with. So really powerful. So we've got the Sun-Jupiter conjunction this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, the main days of this conjunction. And so bring your attention to it's quite a shift. It's quite a powerful energy. Sun, Jupiter in Pisces. This reworking our identity, expanding into our true spiritual essence. And then Venus and Mars together for 4 weeks or 3 weeks already, and moving over into Aquarius together. So it says that our expanding into our true spiritual nature is what moves us into the Aquarian age, and collaboration, supporting each other in this expansion. And so we'll see what it feels like. I think next week might feel really different once we have these shifts. Mercury will move over into Pisces on the 11th next week, and Vesta that same day will move over into Aquarius. So Vesta has kind of lingered behind. It's been in an exact conjunction with Venus, Mars, Pluto for these last couple of days. Oh, wow. It's just so crazy. We have had for the last week or so no oppositions or squares. It's so harmonious and beautiful. And yet it's those oppositions and squares that kind of push us along. And the next energy we're starting to feel right now is happening Sunday, Mercury square the nodes. So Mercury in Aquarius is coming off of that conjunction with Saturn that was kind of like, oh, wow, I can feel some direction. I can feel some energy, some strength around what the Aquarian age means for me and where my life wants to go in my microcosm, my own universe of sovereignty. Now, Mercury square the nodes in Aquarius that's where we're getting this energy around the North Node in Taurus, this wealth revolution, this new wealth, new relationship to wealth and resources, new relationship to resources. What really matters in this world has the least value, like the most important profession of healers and teachers gets, like the least amount of value in this world. And also energy, we have been kept as slaves through this petrodollar system. When Nikola Tesla, in the late 1800s, came up with wireless electricity, and energy runs our world. So a complete reevaluation of what matters and what's valuable. And, when we're talking about Tesla technology and that type of electricity, that's also available in our very own electromagnetic field. That's our light body. So you are the wealth of this world. Because as a supernova soul, this is part of the definition, you've already experienced light body. You've already experienced spiritual ascension. It might have been a whole different way where you were more asleep through it, but you have experienced that. That gives you this soul strength and this soul presence to know that everything's going to be okay, no matter what happens, because we are not our body, we are not our form, and we are not this bullshit that's playing out around us. So Mercury square the nodes is highlighting the wealth revolution of us uncovering our spiritual gifts and skills. That's how we move. That's the essential thing in moving into the Aquarian age and incarnating our Christ consciousness. And but then the South node is in Scorpio. And the South, so this is a trigger. We haven't had it's all been kind of harmonious. This is, now a square with the South node Scorpio, because what you'll find in supernova souls doing past life readings and stuff, a lot of our problems and dynamics come from programmed shame around our spiritual gifts. And when you really look at it, an intuitive reading, it's like, this does not fit at all. The light of your soul and this really dark black mark, but that's what happens when you're persecuted, killed publicly, burned at the stake or whatever's happened to us. And so we've got to clear that shame that's been laid upon us. Maybe all the way back, clearly it goes back to Atlantean time with the catastrophes and where we took the blame for that. And it was never our fault. When you're working with this higher technology in your own body and without external devices, and you're grounded to the earth and in communication to Mother Earth, co-creating, and your cosmic heart chakra is activated, in the way we were working back in Atlantean time with this higher technology before the devices, you cannot miscreate. It's not dangerous to anyone. It's always in alignment with the earth and the cosmos. And that's ultimately the training that you have. So, but then we went and blamed ourselves for the Atlantean catastrophes, like our power created it, but it was actually a weapon, an actual off-planet weapon that created those catastrophes based on our technology. Yep. But we didn't do it. And again, we're just, ever since we've been allowing ourselves to be persecuted, covered in shame, and disconnected from our true gifts and skills, like, oh, better never go there. And now we're figuring out the contractual arrangements we've made with false authority structures, these draconian energies that have been controlling the planet, these reptilian type creatures. They're not as evolved as we are from where we came from. So it's like, now we know we have the body, we've got a human soul in a body, in a human body, and we've got our direct connection to source, and we're way more evolved than these weird hybrid creatures that have been keeping us as slaves on this planet. So what the hell are we doing? And this sovereignty, this claiming our autonomy, is exactly what we were talking about, coming back to where we put our attention and where we put our energy. And I know it's not easy. Don't beat yourself up for getting distracted, because everything is trying to pull us away from this. But bring your attention back to this beautiful gift of who you are, this soul essence, because, we have been so programmed, humanity, to think that wealth is in physical items, right? And we know that you can't take that shit with you. What you can take with you is your soul growth. And you're abundant. You are the wealth of this world. And I know that you feel beaten down and like you're so exhausted, you don't know if you can make it through, but you've already made it. We've actually already made it. And can we just continue to bring our attention back to that place, to let the flow of this current astrology, the collaboration energy, open up new pathways in our life, reset our vibration to be able to receive the support and help of the mother, the 5D, new earth, and the cosmos as we move through this transition period. So use the duality that's coming up of the darkest dark and the lightest light to step out of the whole game. And, but also those glimpses of this well-being. I can feel this. And so it's like, can we put our attention there and remind ourselves and make a note when you have a glimpse of this lightness of being and this, like, it's all okay because we're on a spiritual journey and I'm feeling okay in this moment. And can you make a note of that to yourself and bring your attention back to that place? Because the light is coming in, especially with the Sun Jupiter this weekend and Venus and Mars transitioning over into Aquarius. It's just got that feeling of breaking through, the light breaking through the shadowy darkness. And so exercise your power through your attention and claim this as much as you can, the harmonious energies that are available, but everything's trying to block us from it, So we have a very powerful energy that's beginning we're already feeling it, but it starts exact at the end of the month with Jupiter, Jupiter in Pisces coming up to Neptune. So the Sun Jupiter this weekend is kind of like a precursor, like a little window into this energy of April. And so we're already feeling this, but it will be start the exact conjunction at the end of March. And so feel into that energy, because Neptune in Pisces is exactly this duality we're talking about, the death and rebirth and the drama and trauma and delusions, but also our spiritual dream. And when we join the Christ consciousness and the new Messiah that's being born within all of us with this dream energy to ability to create and co-create, magic can happen. And so we want to really take advantage of these energies. And so we've got this shift this weekend of Venus and Mars moving into Aquarius, and Sun, Jupiter kind of saying, whoa, I am so much more, part of our reset and recalibration is kind of really facing and owning and feeling worthy of this bigger self, and feeling worthy of the gifts that are yours in your soul because of all you've gone through. You didn't go through it just to go through it. You went through it so you could be in your strength and power during these times. Your persecution is over. And yet we're kind of addicted to it because it's gone on for so long. So that's where we're resetting our vibration and dreaming a new dream and inviting something different and allowing ourselves to reset and not get distracted and pulled away. And so really, really powerful. The Sun comes to Neptune. So that will be happening on the 13th. And so these Neptune conjunctions are kind of giving us some support to dream that new dream and to establish a whole new idea of what life is like for supernova souls. Sometimes it feels like, can I just get through this experience, get off this planet so I can actually just exist, what in the hell? This so much, once you come into the wealth that you have on a soul level, and then it feels like I've been just completely beat up, though. I can't even bring forward what I have. So there's an energy of we can't really get out of here until we create heaven on earth. And that is this exposure of our gifts and skills and talents and the true wealth of this world. And so hold that possibility and knowing that the dream is coming and you are the dream and you're leading the way in the dream. And it's time for all that you've gone through to begin to pay off in huge ways. Nothing can stop this spiritual awakening, no matter how much the control energies want to keep us in fear and trauma. And so know there's a bloom of that, and the dark ages and the dungeon and the fear. And then there's that moment of the sun breaking through the clouds where you feel better than you felt in a very long time. And put your attention there and grab a hold of it and own it as your birthright. So now that we're realizing that we have the power and we're the highest authority, that's when we have permission to live and breathe and create heaven on earth. And let the rest of the world have its fallout while we co-create on a whole new level of existence and experience. So supernova souls, you're amazing. We couldn't do this whole thing. You are absolutely essential to this process. And you've been chosen. You chose. You came here. You have made it this far. And perhaps this incarnation energy, this Aries energy that's coming can bring us that impetus of yeah, no more bullshit. I'm not playing, not for sale, and not my problem. And work from your cosmic center, your own autonomous universe where you are creating heaven and the dream and co-creating. And your heaven dream partners will be finding you, and soul group members. There's like a magnetic pull with the shift of allowing ourselves to receive and feel safe and flow with the universe. It creates a magnetic pull to your soul group members, and nothing can keep you from finding each other. You know, I know Supernova souls have been feeling like, I've got to figure out where I should go, what I should be doing. I got to find my people. Are they really out there? You know, and it's like, that's not how it's supposed to be. I mean, the energies were just not supportive, right? But there's such a magnetic pull. You and your soul group came in as a pod together, you know? And so there's just this magnetic pull. And can we allow this? Can we get out of our own way? Can we go with the flow of the universe, but not the bullshit, distraction, trauma, drama programming? And wherever you're getting triggered right now, it's showing you exactly where you're still, whatever part of you is still in the shame, and whatever part of you is still in denial and the feeling unworthy of your resources of wealth. And so take that and say, yes, I got it. I'm going to take that very clear message from the universe and bring my attention back to my heaven right here, right now. And we'll meet there as Supernova souls. So thanks so much for being here and being with me. And exciting and very mysterious and scary times lie ahead, because we're in the darkest dark and the lightest light. But you know where you need to be and where you need to put your attention, and we can help each other. So thanks for being here. I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.